MakingAScene.org brings you the collapse of gatekeepers. What happens when artists own everything? Welcome to the explainer that is honestly going to completely shift your mindset. If you've been feeling frustrated by the modern music industry, like you feel like you're putting your absolute heart and soul into your work only to be left totally at the mercy of algorithms and playlists, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're breaking down a massive cultural and economic shift. We're moving away from platform dependence, and we are talking about total ecosystem ownership. Get ready to rethink literally everything you know about reaching your fans.
Okay, let's dive into this. We've got a 4-part breakdown today. First, we'll look at the gatekeeper trap. Second, how data is the new master. Third, we'll build the artist-owned ecosystem. And finally, we'll give you the roadmap to ownership.
So let's kick things off with part 1, the gatekeeper trap. Because, spoiler alert, the old doors, yeah, they're still standing.
This brilliantly illustrates the core problem. For decades, the whole music business operated on a really restrictive deal, right? You, the artist, made the music, but the gatekeepers owned the road to the fans. You stood in line waiting for the label, the radio programmer, or the retail buyer to pick you. You had to hand somebody else the keys to your career just to reach an audience. That was the old guard, controlling physical access and literal store shelf space. But digital distribution didn't destroy those gatekeepers, it just relocated them. Now your new gatekeepers are algorithms, playlist editors, and these incredibly complex royalty systems. The trap didn't disappear, it just moved behind a screen. The new gatekeeper says, hey, sure, you can be on our platform, but we own the relationship with the listener. Which brings us to this sharp, brilliant one-liner from MakingAScene.org. 1 million views can feel like a stadium and pay like an empty tip jar. Think about how devastatingly true that is. Having a viral moment or stacking up a massive follower count, it's really nothing more than rented visibility if the platform still holds all the cards. You're the one providing the culture that keeps users scrolling. But TikTok, Meta, YouTube, they're the ones turning your engagement into their revenue. You get the applause, sure, but the platform gets the actual data.
That harsh reality transitions us perfectly into our second section. Data is the new master. It is absolutely time to replace mystery with mastery. If you don't know exactly who is listening to your music, where they live, and what they actually want to buy, how on earth can you build a sustainable career? MakingAScene.org makes this incredibly clear. While owning your master recordings is absolutely vital, that's your long-term revenue and catalog value, fan data is the map. Without that map, every single business move you make, whether it's routing a tour, pressing vinyl, printing hoodies, is just a wild guess in the fog. Data tells you where the demand actually lives.
To actually navigate with that map, you need what's called a fan passport. This is a permission-based memory system for the artist. It takes that random, fleeting fan engagement and turns it into an owned, long-term relationship. Because the truth is, you might remember faces in the front row, but without a system, your business doesn't remember their behavior. An artist's career is not built from one random viral video. It's built from the repeat connections that a memory system like this captures. When a fan scans a QR code at your show or taps an NFC sign at the merch table, they're raising their hand. They are opting in. Let's move to and see how this builds out in reality. When a fan streams a song on Spotify or Apple, you're left in a data fog. You don't know who they are. But in an owned ecosystem, that interaction results in a captured email. A social follow just gives you rented reach. But in your own system, it's a direct SMS opt-in. Playing a show to a platform-driven audience just gives you an anonymous crowd. Doing it your way yields scanned ticket data. You see the difference? Capturing fan data turns a faceless, unpredictable crowd into a highly predictable, manageable business.
And that brings us right into section 3, the artist-owned ecosystem. Let's talk about building the revenue stack.
Direct-to-fan engagement is no longer just some cute side hustle. It is the absolute foundation of a working artist's economy. So the crucial point is, if you want to survive without the gatekeepers, you have to architect a system where all roads lead back to you. Relying on a single platform makes you incredibly fragile, right? If one algorithm changes, boom, your income vanishes. But by stacking diverse revenue streams, combining streaming with live shows, direct merch, publishing, maybe some VIP experiences, you completely insulate yourself from the whims of tech giants. Stacking is what makes you truly, undeniably independent.
I absolutely love this metaphor from MakingAScene.org. They say social media should be the front porch, not the house. Nobody is telling you to delete your TikTok or Instagram. Those platforms are fantastic discovery tools. Use them. Tell your stories, show your messy process, reach total strangers. But remember, they are just doors. Once fans are on your front porch, you have to invite them inside your house. And your house is your own website. That is your true command center. That's where the real relationship and the actual commerce happens.
Now, I know what you're thinking. Managing all of this sounds like a ton of administrative work, right? Well, that is exactly where AI becomes your greatest ally. Used properly, AI gives indie artists the coordination power of a small label team. You can use it to plan out release calendars, draft up your emails, analyze which cities are buying the most tickets, or chop up one long video into a dozen short clips. It removes that massive administrative overwhelm without ever replacing the human soul and the emotional truth that makes your music matter in the first place.
Just a real quick note on technology here, because we got to talk about Web3. MakingAscene.org brilliantly cuts through all the noise on this topic. Honestly, all the hype and those speculative gold rushes, completely ignore them. Web3 only matters when it solves a real, practical problem for you as an artist. We're talking about unsexy but highly effective utility. Things like proof of attendance stamps from your live shows, or digital access keys that unlock a private listening room just for your superfans. If the tech serves the fan relationship, absolutely use it. If it's just noise, skip it.
So let's ask the big pivotal question here. What actually happens when the artist owns the system? When you own your data, your distribution, and your communication lines? Well, the middlemen don't magically disappear. Labels, publicists, promoters, they'll still exist. But, and this is a massive but, they get repriced based on their actual value. You don't go to them desperate for access anymore. You go to them and say, hey, I have the audience, I have the data, what fuel can you add to my fire? That completely flips the power dynamic of the entire industry.
Which leads us perfectly into our final section, the roadmap to ownership. Here is your action plan. It's time to move from theory to practice. Now, what's really interesting about this breakdown is how straightforward it is for the focused learner ready to take back their power. MakingAscene.org lays out 6 clear steps to construct your gatekeeper-proof ecosystem. Step 1, build a home base. Get that owned website up. Step 2, capture fan permission. Collect those emails and SMS numbers. Step 3, connect discovery doors. Point all your social links directly back to your site. Step 4, build direct revenue around what your fans actually want to buy. Step 5, use AI as your back office to save yourself hours of time. And Step 6, measure what leads to money, not just vanity metrics like views or likes.
And remember, this shift isn't some sudden, dramatic explosion where you wake up tomorrow and you're a global enterprise. It's a quiet revolution. Think about a realistic timeline. In year 1, you're just getting your website command center set up. On a show day, you simply make sure a QR code is capturing emails at the merch table. On release day, you push a direct vinyl sale to that list. When you're tour planning, you route your travel using the real fan data you've been collecting. You build this independence brick by brick, fan by fan, and sale by sale.
And when you build it this way, you eventually get to sit at the negotiation table with anyone, a label, an agent, a brand, and ask this incredibly empowering new question: what value do you add to the business I already own? Just think about the confidence it takes to ask that. When you stop building your life on rented land, you stop begging algorithms for mercy, and you stop begging gatekeepers for access. You hold the leverage.
So I want to leave you with this final provocative thought to carry with you. Are you building a career on rented land, or are you laying the bricks for your own house? The tools for absolute ownership are sitting right in front of you. Make sure you check out the other great articles and resources on makingascene.org, the place the indie artist goes to build a new music industry.